welcome to this week's episode of Wand and Crown. I'm Haley, that is Keeley, and this week's episode is going to be all about river cruising. We're primarily going to talk about AMA Waterways because that is the vendor and the booking river cruise that the two of us are most familiar with because that's our preferred supplier. But a lot of these statements can be applied to other river cruises. So pretty much, the first thing that I hear when people ask me about river cruising is, what are they? Why should I do this? To me, it is a really great and different way to see the world. Mm-hmm. Because if you're going to Europe, Asia, Africa, if you're going to Europe, you're going to go to each little town. You take a train between the towns or you drive to the towns. This is a great way to see it because, when humanity was starting, rivers were kind of the cradles of civilization. So you've got these really
very poetic, Haley.
Thank you. It's the history major in me coming out. So you've got these really great, big, old cities and kind of the hearts of culture that are centered around rivers. Mm-hmm. Plus, you unpack once and your hotel and your mode of transportation is the same thing.
Yeah, it just moves to you unpack and you're good to go and you're moving with your stuff, not having to pack up and it's kind of like the opposite of backpacking through Europe.
Exactly. Yeah. And you get some really nice digs too.
Right. And the food and everything and the service is so nice on the cruises because it's like a cruise, like a regular traditional cruise, but I feel like the service is just an extra step up, if not 2 steps up, really.
It is. And you say it's like a cruise. Another benefit of river cruising is that you've got these calm waters. So if you're someone who's possibly more prone to motion or seasickness, like Keeley, then you don't have to worry about, am I going to be okay on this trip?
Yep.
You are.
You're calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing that people tend to talk to me about is, well, aren't river cruises mostly for old people? I would say they skew older crowd-wise, but that's not the only target audience. A lot of river cruises are opening up to families, couples, pretty much people of all ages. It's taken a little bit of time to reach the millennials and and Gen Xers because we have this idea of it being
party. Well, cruises being party, but this is being retirement people, but it's not. Yeah.
It really isn't. AMA Waterways, which again is who our preferred supplier is, because they also are the cruise company. Couldn't think of the word there. They're also the cruise company that Adventures by Disney uses for their river cruises. They are family owned and operated. Their CEOs have grown up in the areas, so they have a hand in making all of the itineraries and making sure that they are very welcoming to all different sorts of people. Let's see, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. They have a bunch of different itineraries for all different types of people. So, you get these, all the river cruising companies will have tours that you can take when you get off at each port. Most of them are included. I don't know of any where they aren't included. Some will have kind of special itineraries, like a golf package or something that's going to be extra. But for the most part, it's going to be these walking tours around the cities. But you also have, with AMA, you've got hiking tours, you've got biking tours. There's one, I cannot remember the exact itinerary. I want to say that it's in Austria, where you get off at one port and then you can bike to the next port in the destination.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the ship will go over there later that day.
That's cool.
Right? They've got yoga in the morning. They've got gym. They've got on their newest ship, they've got what are the bikes called? This is not
Peloton?
my area. It's not Peloton, but yes, biking.
Okay, but like the stationary bike, like stationary bikes?
Thank you. Cycling. No.
Like,
what's the gym class that's cycling? I hate it.
Isn't it just that?
Okay, basically they've got gym classes where you can cycle off the back of the ship.
I think it's called cycling. Yes, but yeah. Okay, it's cycling.
I like Zumba. Spin class.
Oh,
you can do spin classes on,
you're right. There you go.
Outside on the back of one of their ships. So, and they've got wine tours and things like that. So a lot of river cruises, included, are trying to extend their reach from that stereotype of being for retirees and stuffy, and you're just, you're that group of people that are walking around following the person with the flag, with the
little microphone thingy, and you're all standing around. I feel like a lot of tours have evolved from that, and I also feel like you said, like people our age, like millennials, I feel like a lot of us grew up traveling a lot more than, let's say, like our parents did. Like, I feel like our parents did travel pretty well, but I feel like it's become a lot more common. At least, like, I've seen so many of my friends are constantly like going to Europe because it's so much more accessible now to travel. So I feel like that is a big thing too, is a lot more people our age are wanting to go spend that money and really explore kind of outside of like the norm and just kind of do stuff locally and branch out.
Absolutely. And I think that river cruising is a great way to get a taste of these places, because you get to go to so many ports. I mean, if most of these are at least a week long. So you get to go to multiple countries, multiple ports, and you can see what places might work for you for a different trip in the future.
I feel like it's almost like it's like a sampler platter, where like you kind of like you get to like experience a lot, and then you're like, oh, like I really want to come back here and like spend 2 or 3 days here, not just do like a day or two, but like or like we really liked Switzerland, and I don't know, I'm just picking random, I don't know, like what's another, Austria, like we like those two when we did this. Like, let's plan a trip where we're going to come back and like actually stay and explore a little bit more. But I mean, and that's my thing, is like every time I've been to Europe, well, I don't want to say that. Two of the times I've been to Europe, I've done London and then Paris, and then the other time we did Paris and then went to Nice. And I liked having that broken up because, again, it gives you enough time to kind of like explore where you are, but then you get to go somewhere else. And I feel like that's the fun thing with the river cruises. You get to explore, but you get to go again, so your passport's going to be full. Which is really cool.
Yeah, it really is. And it's funny that you mentioned Paris, because, Europe is the primary place for river cruising. So you get to go to the Seine, which goes through Paris. There are itineraries that go through the upper and lower Danube, which goes through, I think, 10 or 11 countries.
That's cool.
So if you take like one of the long trips that takes the entire Danube River, I mean, you're going from Budapest, all the way. I can't remember.
Pull up that map, Hayley.
It ends really far down.
Yeah.
All I know is that one of the land add-ons for the 14-night Ultra Danube cruise for Amma is in Istanbul. So you get pretty
Oh
far.
my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Wow.
It's amazing.
That's like significant. That's a significant like area coverage. Yes.
It really is. So you get to experience, I keep harping on about this. You get to experience so much. And I'm sorry, this is like, oh, I am such a history nerd. If you guys didn't know that already, you do now. And the idea of being able to go through Hungary, Austria, Romania, and just these areas that you wouldn't necessarily think to go on your own. It's very exciting.
And they're like really like places that are rich in history because they've been there for so long, and there's still so many structures that are standing, and then you get to go tour them. That's part of why Adventures by Disney partners with them, is because the thing that Adventures by Disney is big on is hiring guides that are local, grew up in the area, have lived there for like a significant amount of time, so they can get you around. Like I could get you around Baltimore, DC, and Hayley can get you around like all of North Carolina, or we could get you around Disney World because we know
Disney
it like
World. Yeah, I know Disney World. Don't ask me about North Carolina. I spent most of my youth with the book. Just ask my parents. I could not.
Okay, you know more about North Carolina than I know. Point. Than Disney World, yes. But like, yeah, it'd be like having
very true.
Yeah, it'd be like having one of us take you around Disney World. That's who these guides are, is they can point out the cool stuff, the stuff that like a tour guide that was just hired like a few months ago wouldn't know and had never really been there themselves. These people know this stuff like the back of their hand.
They do, and they travel these itineraries multiple times, so they get to know it even better. And with Amma, they've got a cruise director that's on board with you. They also offer pre and post cruise land packages, and their cruise managers will go on these trips with the people that take advantage of those packages. So you've got someone either before your river cruise or after your river cruise that's taking you through this whole adventure. Yeah, exactly. Consistently. And who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. Because again, they're doing this all the time, and they know the area because they're either traveling it consistently or they're from there and they know it. And I feel like doing that too, like doing a post or pre-cruise stay is helpful because I mean, usually for normal cruises, you do want to do that if you're not local. Like we have a port here in Baltimore, so like people that live here, I'm in my area 20 minutes away, so I don't have to worry about a post or post or pre-trip stay. But if I'm going out of Miami, had a horror story. 12 years ago, we flew in the day of the cruise. Never again. We learned our lesson. So and we flew into, I can't remember what airport. Maybe Fort Lauderdale. The whole thing was, it was miserable. We thought our luggage wasn't going to make it. We learned our lesson time and time over again on that trip. So when you're going to Europe, which you most likely
want that buffer.
Yes, you're traveling internationally. So not only do you have that little bit of buffer, so you're not stressing like we were, you also get a little bit of extra to your trip too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It gives you this buffer, and you also get to experience things that you wouldn't necessarily experience otherwise. Like one of the Amma land packages has you being able to go to visit the birthplace of Vlad the Impaler, who is the inspiration for Dracula.
I want to do that.
Bram Stoker or Bram Castle.
Okay.
So you get to go to kind of like a vampiric tour, I guess, afterwards.
I would want to do that.
Which is very cool. Like, yes. It's not things that you would think to do by yourself. And they've also got, this is not just Amma related, but a lot of the river cruising companies will have kind of special itineraries. They will have wine itineraries that go through the Bordeaux regions of France, through, I want to say, Upper Danube. I'm really going to have to check my notes on this one because there's the Douro. the Douro is the wine region that I am thinking of. So you can check out the vineyards and places that wines come from. They have holiday cruising itineraries that will take you to the Christmas markets.
My parents did that. No, they did Viking, but they were there for Thanksgiving, which obviously over there means nothing.
No.
Which is fine. I'm cool with that. Thanksgiving is like my least favorite holiday. I hate the food. Anyway, we already went over the whole that when you had the Thanksgiving sushi, and I was like, that's gross.
Okay.
Anyway. But they were there for Thanksgiving, so it was like the perfect time to see and theirs was, I think they had 3 ports in Germany. I can't remember exactly, but like it was very like heavy on Germany, and they got to do the Christmas markets. And I'm like, we're hoping to do that in 2024. Like we're planning our trip over there to time with those Christmas markets, because you can't get any more Christmas than a German Christmas market.
Yep.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Krampus. I do want to see. Oh, I would love to see like the Krampus Fest. Like, I would actually Halloween Horror Nights. It was on the houses the first year, which is funny. But like that kind of stuff. Like like that's all like cool like local fun stuff that like the average person might not know, and like the cruise is gonna help you find that, and, like tell you the best place to go to see it, and like just
and they have tours that specifically take you to the markets.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to stay with the tour the entire time. That is something that I should say. Like any of the tours or excursions that are included with any of these itineraries, you don't have to go on them.
My dad did his own bar crawl in Germany the one night.
Yeah.
My grandparents and my mom went to sleep early. My dad was like, all right, and they were staying in that port that night.
Yep.
So my dad was like, cool. So he walked around. He has like 10 coasters because he made friends with all the bartenders, like just totally by himself, just walking through Germany, drinking German beer, and did his own thing. And it was great. And then he came back, and then everybody was on the cruise ship. They had a really nice dinner beforehand. That's like my kind of trip. You can do what you want. You get fed really good food, and you're constantly doing stuff. Because that's the thing that I don't love about regular cruises. I hate days at sea. I don't want to say I hate them. I don't like them. I like when you're at a port, when you're at an island, when you have stuff to do. And I feel like that's the thing with doing river cruises, as like we said earlier, it's port heavy. You're constantly doing something, or you have the opportunity, even if you don't want to, you have the opportunity to get off and explore and do something.
Yep. 100% agree. 100%. And now we've been talking about Europe a lot, but I mean, there are one or two, I want to say that Viking for sure.
Yes.
Possibly Avalon.
Yes, I've seen Avalon does stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So those two, Viking, Avalon, and Amma Waterways are the kind of the 3 big hitters in the river cruising industry. But Viking will do river cruises down the Mississippi River.
I think Avalon does too.
So please.
I think Avalon does.
I think you might be right.
I feel like I've seen the emails from them. Could be wrong, but for sure Viking. Possibly Avalon.
For sure Viking. Not my personal cup of tea, because I live in the South.
It's local.
But it could be a fun way for non-US citizens or people who don't live in the US to experience the Mississippi. Pretend like you're Mark Twain or Huckleberry Finn. Go down the Mississippi River, end up in New Orleans, and have a ball.
I feel like that would be fun for like families too, because you're like learning, like you'll get like some like local, or not, I don't want to say local, but like American history too. And then you're doing it like in a fun, I don't want to say unconventional, but like kind of an unconventional way. Yeah, but like in a good unconventional way.
Yeah. Not a bad unconventional
Not
way.
a bad unconventional.
Just a different way.
A different way. But yeah, and like New Orleans is a really cool area. So I feel like ending up there, and again, like that's a good like post trip stay, is you can spend a few days in New Orleans and really experience that. Line it up with Mardi Gras. I wouldn't do that because That's a lot.
My personal idea of hell, but
too much overstimulus.
For some reason, like I am perfectly fine with Disney crowds, but the idea of going into a Mardi Gras crowd.
I was going to say that. I was going to say Disney crowds because I think Disney is like my comfort place. So like I'm okay with it. I know where I'm at. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's also more families and like a controlled environment, whereas like Mardi Gras is getting crazy.
It's a lot, but
it's a lot. But like that's why you go like right before or right after, and so you get like a little taste of it, but you don't have to deal with the craziness.
Exactly. Or you could go to one of the itineraries goes through Vietnam and Cambodia. Like what? There are places that go through Asia. There are itineraries that will go down the Nile and will take you through the Valley of the Kings, the Luxor Temple. Like you can experience Egypt. There are ones that will take you
that would be
different countries in Africa, and your pre and post trip stays include safaris. Like the options are endless, really.
We stop talking about this because I want to go on like all of these.
Me too.
That's the downside. This is the fun part of being a travel agent, but the downside is, and Haley texted me this the other day when she was doing the training, is the trainings make you want to do all these trips. So like you're seeing all this fun stuff and now you're like, well, now I want to go.
Must save my money. Don't have money.
It's fine. It's okay.
But this is why we do this, is so that we can bring this excitement to you guys and help you experience these awesome trips, because they're things that you wouldn't necessarily think of yourself.
Yep.
Coming back to the beginning of this podcast.
Call back.
It's something that people would normally think of as being stuffy and old and boring, and they're just not.
No.
That's not what they are anymore. They are luxury. You've got like five stream jet showers. This is not what I'm trying to say, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like luxury showers. You've got 5-star dining that's included on your ships. I think
that's
I cannot wax poetic enough about these.
That's one thing my parents raved about was the dining on the ship, because it's not, again, it's different from your normal cruise dining. It's actually chefs who are like curating these menus, and they're curating it to where it's where you are locally. Exactly. So you're still, if you're eating on board, you're still getting that taste. And again, you can go off the ship and eat there too, but you're still getting that taste of the local culture.
Yeah. And a lot of these ships will bring like local acts, dancers, singers, whatnot, on entertainment. That's the word I'm looking for. We'll bring local entertainment on board, so you have that extra experience, which isn't something you would have on a normal cruise ship. Now you can also get a pool, and they've got a bar up top that you can enjoy if you really want to, but you don't have to. Because there's everything to do.
So much to do. It's like, again, it's nonstop, but if you don't want it to be nonstop, it doesn't have to be nonstop, but the option's there.
Exactly.
And that's what I like, because I like being nonstop. Vacations are not for relaxing. They are for doing everything, which is relaxing.
I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you on that one. We already know this. But that being said, in this case, I'm perfectly fine with it being nonstop.
See? Because it's fun, and that's a vacation.
Sometimes. Whatever. When the occasion calls for it. And I feel like we're probably going to have to wrap this up, because if we don't, I'm just going to keep going through all of my notes and being like, and look at this thing, and look at that thing, and all of these things that you can do on a river cruise. But really.
But if you want to know them, reach out to Haley, because she will gladly talk to you about them.
I will talk your ear off.
Yeah. But that's what you want. You want someone who's going to talk your ear off because they know too much.
Exactly. And want to live vicariously through you.
I tell my clients that all the time, because they're like, thanks so much for like helping plan our trip, or like, thanks for, and I'm like, Can I come with you though? Like that's if you're really that thankful.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're really like that excited, can I come with you? Cause like, and send me pictures like every day and let me know what you're doing and I will not be jealous of you at all.
No, absolutely not.
I have clients going like right before our next trip and clients going right after our next trip. And I will still be like, I need updates, even though it's just there or I'm going to be there. And then it was just there. Like I literally have clients leaving 2 days after we get back. And I'm going to be like, can you send me pictures of Halloween Horror Nights, please? And thank you. Even though I was just there like 36 hours ago. Fine. But that's why we love our jobs. Cause we love people traveling and we love to help people traveling.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Wand and Crown. So thank you, and we will see you next time.